Today's case is about a Pakistani girl, Noor Mukadam, who was brutally killed, stabbed, assaulted, and beheaded by her boyfriend. Welcome back to Crime Lane, where we unfold one of the most horrifying cases in history. Before diving into the video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated. Noor Mukadam emerged as the youngest child among her two siblings. Her father served as a Pakistani government official and foreign representative. Noor completed her primary and secondary school in Ireland. People there found Noor as a beautiful woman with an incredibly kind heart. Because of her father's budding career, she had to travel a lot. So after completing her secondary school in Ireland, she completed her high school in South Korea. After South Korea, the family moved to Kazakhstan, but Noor decided to move to the U.S. to live with her older sister. Sarah Mukadam family was both well-known and well-off. Even though Shaukat had an accomplished professional life, he still had the time to be a family man. His two daughters and son were the lights of his and his wife's lives, but Islamabad was the only place where she felt like a home, so it was no surprise when Noor decided to go back to Pakistan, to her hometown Islamabad. And here comes the turning point in Noor's life. Coming back, Noor was introduced to a handsome and charming man named Zahir Jaffer, but good looks weren't the only thing that Zahir brought to the table. He was also the son of what was one of Pakistan's wealthiest and most powerful families, a dual citizen of the United States. Zahir was the heir to a multi-million-dollar real estate business which was well known for its contracts with the military and hosting lavish business dinners. And it was at one of those lavish business dinners where Noor and Zahir would meet for the first time. Their romantic relationship grew slowly until around 2018 when the two made it official and started dating. It was said that it was Noor who fell in love with Zahir because he was more to her than the parties and the lavish lifestyle he had. He was shy and introverted even though he was set for life with the family's money. Zahir had chosen to study psychology in school and had a license to be a counselor at a center called Therapy Works. Zahir loved Noor's beauty, intelligence, and compassion. Despite studying international relations in school, Noor wanted to become a veterinarian. Noor and Zahir initially had a great time together, with Noor bringing out Zahir's extroverted side. They enjoyed dancing at weddings and seemed very happy. However, their relationship took a turn for the worse as they started having intense and explosive fights. During these fights, a different, more volatile side of Zahir emerged, characterized by anger and abusive behavior towards Noor. In July 2021, nearly 3 years into their relationship, Noor and Zahir's relationship began to falter. Noor found herself unable to handle the emotional and physical abuse inflicted by Zahir. Consequently, she made the difficult decision to take a break from the abusive relationship. Noor's family supported and respected her choice, prioritizing her mental well-being. But little did she know what was going to happen next. On July 18, 2021, Zahir booked a taxi to the airport because at 3:50 a.m. he had a flight to New York. He decided to settle in New York. He did all of his packing and even told his family. All the arrangements were done. After not talking for 6 months, Noor received a call from Zahir at 9 p.m., Zahir requesting her to meet him. Zahir told Noor he was planning to leave for the United States that night, and he wanted to see her one last time before he left. Noor still had feelings for Zahir despite their abusive relationship. When he asked to meet before leaving for New York, she agreed, as her family knew his, and there were no concerns about meeting him one last time. From this point onwards, Strange occurrences began to unfold as Noor left for Zahir's house, informing her family that she was going to meet one of her friends. Now, from 10:11 p.m., Zahir was doing strange different calls. He first called his travel agency and continued to ask strange questions such as, "What if I don't sit in this flight? What will happen? Will I get my refund? If I decide to book another ticket after 10 days, then what will happen?" And then did a last call telling them that he has decided to sit in the 3:50 a.m. flight. Zahir, who had booked a cab for the airport, kept the driver waiting outside his house for half an hour. Despite the driver's repeated calls and reminders about missing the flight, Zahir asked for 5 more minutes. However, at 12:01 a.m., Zahir abruptly canceled his plan to catch the flight, realizing he would be late even if he left at that moment. He offered the driver some money for the time he had waited. Before the driver left, he offered to Zahir that he can call him if he changes his mind and he can quickly drop him off. After canceling his initial plan, Zahir called the cab driver at 1:40 a.m., requesting a pickup for the airport. The driver found it strange since Zahir already knew he wouldn't make it in time. However, the driver agreed to go, understanding that he would be compensated for the entire trip. At 2:15 a.m., Zahir emerged from his house accompanied by Noor, barefooted. They both got into the taxi and headed towards the airport. Throughout the journey, Zahir spoke to Noor, but she remained silent, which the driver found peculiar. Eventually, Zahir requested the driver to take them back home, citing that they were running late and he wouldn't be able to catch the flight. Now at 2:45 a.m., driver dropped them back at Zahir's residence. As soon as Noor came off the car, Zahir dragged Noor inside the house. According to the driver's testimony, Zahir forcefully dragged Noor inside the house. As seen in this CCTV footage, Noor's parents grew worried when she did not answer their calls. Just as they were about to contact the police, Noor called them and assured them not to worry. She informed them that she was going to Lahore, the capital of Pakistan's Punjab province, with a friend. This was unusual as Noor had never taken such actions without her parents' permission. Despite the call getting disconnected, her parents continued to reach out to her. For 2 days, Noor was held captive in Zahir's house. On July 20th at 10:40 a.m., Noor left a voice message to her mother, which turned out to be her final message. Unfortunately, the exact contents of the message were never officially received. Zahir, noticing Noor leaving the message, became panicked. At 10:56 a.m., immediately after Noor's message, Zahir took Noor's phone and called her mother 3 times using his own phone. He spoke to Noor's mother for 20 minutes, repeatedly telling her that Noor wasn't at his house. At 1:44 p.m., Zahir called his father, whom he spoke to for 30 minutes. Then he called his father again at 2:14 p.m., but spoke to him for 9 seconds only. For the next 4.5 hours, no calls left the house. However, what was happening inside the house was nothing short of someone's worst nightmare. At 4 p.m., the cook inside the house and the guard began to hear Noor crying and screaming from the bedroom. The screams progressively worsened. No one in the house did anything to figure out why Noor was screaming. 15 minutes later, Noor tried to escape. She walked onto the balcony, grabbed the railing, and jumped down the ground floor. Her chest and arms hit the air conditioner protruding from the wall outside and stumbled onto the railing on the ground floor. Wounded, Noor walked barefoot, holding her stomach as she reached the main gate. Zahir ran out onto the balcony, yelling at his guards to grab the wounded Noor. Noor was intercepted by the guards as she tried to escape, but Zahid leaped from the balcony and forcefully grabbed her arm. He confiscated her phone and confined her in the guards' room near the entrance. After a brief interval, He reopened the door and forcefully pulled Noor out by her hair. He then dragged her back into the house, up the stairs, and into a bedroom where he held her captive. When Zahir dragged Noor back upstairs and locked the door, things only got worse. He took out a handgun in an attempt to shoot Noor, but as he pushed the gun up against her head and pulled the trigger, the gun jammed. But that didn't stop Zahir. Murder was on his mind. Zahir pulled out a Swiss knife and stabbed Noor over and over again. She scratched his arms and face, but the stab wounds were slowing her down. She was bleeding profusely, and eventually, Noor fainted. Even though Noor had fainted, Zahir continued stabbing her. He then wrapped his hands around Noor and squeezed until she let out her last breath. Zahir wasn't done yet. After she died, he took his knife and started slicing her throat until her head soared off of her body. Noor's head was found around 3 feet from her body. The blood patterns on the floor suggested that Zahir had kicked her severed head several times. Noor's post-mortem report revealed that she had been subjected to multiple abductions and assaults during her captivity. Zahir had a history of violence, drug abuse, and assault, being a frequent user of crystal methamphetamine and cocaine. He had previously been arrested for assaulting his mother and was involved in a criminal case where 3 drug-addicted women died in a car crash. During his studies in the United States, Zahir's severe drug abuse triggered drug-induced psychosis, exacerbating his existing chronic schizophrenia and fueling his self-destructive behavior. By 6:35 p.m., Noor's lifeless body was found with her head lying in a pool of blood on the floor of Zahir's residence. Zahir called his father multiple times, confessing to the murder and beheading of Noor. Zahir's parents, aware of their son's troubles, contacted Dr. Tahir, a psychiatrist at the therapy center where Zahir worked. Zahir's father urged Dr. Tahir quickly go to the house, claiming that Zahir was attempting to solicit a girl. Confused by the situation, Dr. Tahir asked for clarification, to which Zahir's father cryptically responded, implying that Dr. Tahir understood the gravity of the situation. A team from Therapy Works, including Dr. Tahir, arrived at the Jaffer residence but found the doors and windows locked. After waiting for over 25 minutes, the team member named Amjad discovered a ladder in the backyard and climbed up to the first-floor bedroom balcony. As they entered, a gunshot went off as Zahir attempted to shoot Amjad but missed. The team managed to overpower and restrain Zahir while one of them went to the nearest police station. When police arrived, Zahir was immediately arrested while in police custody, and during his indictment, Zahir admitted to murdering Noor. Noor's family got a call from police telling them that their daughter has been murdered. They were devastated and were not going to let their beloved daughter's murder this easily. But being diplomats also knew how law works. When Noor came into Zahir's life, she took out Zahir from his introverted zone and actually made him feel happy. He thought that they were going to get married. But when Noor broke up with him and rejected her marriage proposal, his ego got hurt. Zahir booked his and Noor's one-way ticket to New York, thinking that Noor's will get married to him and they will live a happy life together. But obviously when Noor refused, he tortured her for 2 days, and then after failing, trying every way to convince her, he killed her brutally. During courtroom's trial, Zahir used to refuse to show up to the court, and police had to forcefully drag him to the court. Country-wide protests took place to give Noor justice and hang Zahir. Less than a year after the murder, on February 24, 2022, Zahir Jaffer was sentenced to death for murder, a verdict. Watchman Muhammad Iftikhar and gardener Muhammad John were both sentenced to 10 years in prison for abetting. Justice is served. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe to Crime Lane and let us know your thoughts about this case. Also, let us know which story we should cover next, and we will feature in our next video with your story. Till then, goodbye.